Painting a portrait is not just making a picture, it's the celebration of a person. That idea always has inspired me.
Did you always intend to become a portrait painter?
When I was a kid, I could draw, so that my parents sent me to classes, and from classes I went later to the academy. I got private lessons and I developed my drawing skills with the teacher, private teacher. I went into publicity first, and I was quite successful as an illustrator. But I knew one day I should go back to where I came from, portrait drawing and painting.
But when did you start as a professional portrait painter?
In '95, I think. And from that moment on till I retired, commissions and commissions.
So tell us a little bit more about how you got started.
Yeah, you must be good enough. So the question is, how do I get better? I thought, well, 1 out of 10 portraits that I paint must be good enough. And then 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. And when I thought, well, if I can make 9 out of 10 well done, good portraits, then I start a business. And that's the way it started. First you start with painting family members, neighbors or friends. And then little by little it takes off. You must be good enough to make a living. And I was really aware what my level was. So first I had to become better before I could start. Immediately I had a gallery in Amsterdam, in Haarlem, in Holland. And after a couple of years I was invited by a gallery in London, fine art commissions. The same time I was invited to go to Santa Fe in America, which I didn't because that's a hell of a trip to go to the US. Yeah. So no, I was lucky to have good galleries, but a lot of traveling. Every portrait meant packing suitcases. That's why I didn't want to go to the US, because there was nothing. Yeah.
Okay, let's change tack a little bit.
Yeah.
And talk about the skills that you need as a portrait painter.
Well, first of all, you must be a good painter, a good draftsman. That's the basis. But also it has to do with other skills. You must be able to treat people. You must have a good doses of self-criticism, which I think is very, very important. You must be able to handle commissions. Sometimes people are not easy. Little by little I managed, and little by little I got better in it.
Do you find it takes longer to get to know some sitters than others?
Problem is with a sitter, if he has a really present ego, he must slow down because I am the one in charge. And if you don't like the sitter, then you're in trouble. Some way or another you must find the nice aspect of a sitter.
You're giving advice to yourself 30 years ago.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to that novice painter?
Well, the most important trick, as I said before, try to be a good painter. And it sounds stupid, but don't trust the opinion of your partner or your family. They think you are great. Doesn't mean that you are good enough to start the business. So see where your level is. Self-criticism is really, really important. Relate to people that you find they are good. See what they charge. Another thing I want to tell people who start, make a pricing list. Imagine that people ask you, what's the price of that portrait? And then you say, well, I think 2,000 euros. it sounds as if you're talking about a second-hand car. There is no negotiation. If you have a piece of paper with a list, you deliver the list and you're free. Oh yeah, this is the price, half size, complete size, only the head and shoulders. Ah yeah, and background apart. So the list is to blame. And also, what I like to say, give this list from the very beginning. Imagine people asked, can I give you the commission? And said, okay, and then you could talk about it and how it will look like. And halfway you have to tell them the price. No, give the price immediately.
Right in the beginning.
Yeah. Another thing is this. Sometimes a customer asks you if he can have a photo of the photo shoot. Don't do that. He asks for a portrait, a painted portrait, not for a photograph. There's always a risk that in the end they compare the picture with the painting and say, well, is the nose well? Protect yourself, don't do that. After finishing the portrait, I sent the customer a picture of the portrait by email. And that's an important thing to know, because if for the first time the customer sees his portrait, he says, oh, is it me? And then he asks his wife, what do you think, is this ear or the nose or whatever? If you are present for the first time and you give the client his portrait, he is not free to talk because he doesn't want to harm you. So I sent by email the image, and well, I hear from them if they're happy with it. And with the actual delivery, the painting looks better than on the email. So less stressful, everybody happy. Another thing for starters in this business, don't accept impossible jobs. And an impossible job is, here you have a picture of me, nice picture 10 years ago, I want you to paint that. Make sure that you make your own photos, do the photo session yourself. It always also shows the relation of you with your sitter. Don't accept impossible jobs, although you need the money. Don't do that, don't do that. Another thing at the end maybe is first to be serious with yourself and be humble. I'm a reporter of the harmony in the sitter. So if the sitter feels well, it's easy to make a nice portrait. That's another thing. The way I did it always, imagine there is a commission. First I visit the client, have a cup of tea or a glass of wine, we talk about the commission, and the next day I come back with my camera. And then people think Ben is already looking, that's more or less, yeah, the ears, the mouth. No, no, I'm just there to be present. And then I go away and people think, well, Ben is a nice chap. It sounds a bit strange, but that's what I'm after.
You have to get to know someone.
Yeah, yeah, and they have to open themselves to you. That's more in the game, in the play. It's theater. It's not bad, but it's sometimes theater, because I really must get something to paint. The sitter must give me something in order for me to give it back. And that has nothing to do with your drawing skills. That has to do with your person. Be critical with yourself. Make the best you can. And if you make the best you can, you're more happy, and the sitter is happy, and the world gets happier.